It's like a.
But I hate that team.
Yeah, I hate them too.
I hate them a lot, and so when I see
I don't
them
like their color scheme either.
His jerseys are
Really
cool.
do not like poop brown in a uniform scheme. It just doesn't do it for me.
I also didn't like that they hired Gabe Kapler after he failed with the Phillies, and they tried to make him out to be some great manager.
They
He
learned.
wasn't.
They
learned.
They had one good year, though, where everything looked like it worked.
Yeah, and then they found out he was weird.
Yes.
The Giants win yesterday, 10-4. So if you heard in the little intro there, it was a fun first inning. Taijuan Walker pitched a scoreless frame in the top of the first, and the Phillies, by use of small ball and not relying on the long ball, scored 3 in the bottom half. It was a 3-0 first inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. And then clock struck midnight on Taijuan Walker, and he gives up 6 runs in the second inning. And then the bats, except for Nick Castellanos' home run and a couple of opportunities here and there, which we will get to later on in the show, were once again lifeless. And this was without Brandon Marsh in the lineup. Alec Boehm did get a hit yesterday. We'll react to the game a lot more coming up in a little bit.
Lifeless. Strange you use that word, my friend.
Why is that?
Because that's sort of I walked away from that game going, lifeless. I walked away from Sunday's game, that Sunday afternoon game, lifeless. I walked away from Friday night, where Aaron Nola pitched well enough to win.
Yeah.
Lifeless. That's what has been. So 3 of the last 4 games that I've watched that team freaking sleepwalk and appear lifeless.
And I don't know why. I don't know what makes that happen. But what we're going to do to start the show today is just take a peek at the manager. And that's Rob Thompson.
Well, it's strange you start there when you say lifeless.
So
I Googled it this morning and saw his picture.
I want to know how the people view Rob Thompson, because it's always kind of strange talking about him. There are people that really, really, really like him. There are people that really, really, really don't like him.
Right.
And then there's, of course, the people in between. I'm one of the guys. I'm an in-between guy.
How are you closer to? Because there's got to be some nuance to it.
I'm closer to really liking him.
I'm closer to really not.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we come from in this.
Yeah.
But I respect the hell out of the skill set that he does have. I respect the hell out of it because I know he needs to have it.
Yeah.
Got to be able to manage people. You got to be able to make a comfortable working environment.
And I think he does that pretty well.
No, he does it really well.
Now, this year, it is a little bit different and necessary. The, hey, let's grow up a little bit phase that we're seeing this team do. I don't know if that was directed by Rob Thompson. That may have been directed by the star player on this team, Bryce Harper. He was the one that was most vocal about it.
And Schwarber.
But when it comes to Rob Thompson, so how do you guys view him? So I lean more towards I really like him. John leans toward
more. It's more like I would say I'm a little past 50% on the do you like him, do you not like him? I'm moving closer to not liking it.
Okay.
I expect my leaders to lead. I expect my leader to be the person who sets the agenda and sets the tone.
Yeah.
I want them on the front lines taking the bullets.
Yeah. And yesterday he had an opportunity to do that, and he did not. And as a guy who does really like Rob Thompson, I was disappointed in him yesterday. So there was a moment in the ball game yesterday. The Phillies were down by 4 runs. This is before it really blew up. Obviously, the Giants tack on 2 in the 7th and 2 on the 9th. But the Phillies were down 4. And JT Realmuto came up to bat with 2 men on. And he hits a rocket to left field that just misses the foul pole. And
it was right there.
Yeah, and it's a foul ball, and so the at-bat continues. It would have cut the game to 1 run. And then a couple pitches later, Realmuto goes down looking on an abysmal call by the umpire. I mean, this thing was not even close to the zone. You want to give the catcher.
Would you say a foot outside is too much for those who haven't seen it this morning?
Yeah, it was. I think outside.
I think a foot outside is not outlandish to say that was such an obvious call.
And it was the broadcast said it, and you know me, I'm not really a guy that picks up on what the broadcast is talking about. It never even started as a strike.
No,
like this pitch was outside from the beginning.
It would have been outer edge
outside.
Yeah, it would have been outer edge at very best.
Right.
And then it went worse.
So Realmuto is upset, but he is usually calm, cool, and collected, so he didn't go off. The next inning, Tanner Banks is pitching and throws literally 2 pitches in the exact same spot. And, of course, they're called a ball because they should be, because they were not strikes. But in the previous inning, your catcher with 2 men on and 2 outs goes down looking. Now, to me, Johnny, this is when it gets even worse. In the bottom of the 8th, Alec Boehm goes down looking, strike 3.
By the way, I'm going to be totally honest with the audience. I went to bed after the Real Muto end of the inning. I said, I am not sitting up for this crap.
I don't blame you.
I said, I'm going to bed.
I took the bullet for us yesterday.
So I did. I said, that's it. I can't do it.
Like how you want Rob Thompson to take the bullet for the team.
Right,
I
you
took the
it.
bullet for the show. So did Connor.
I couldn't do it.
Nice. You took the bullet on the 9:30 game and not the 12:30 game.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't do it. I turned it off in disgust.
So Boehm goes down looking on strike 3. Now, this one was much closer than the previous inning, but here's the deal. It was a ball. It was strike 3 called by the umpire, and Alec Boehm stood in the batter's box laughing audibly. Like he could not control himself how bad the call was. That was the moment when Rob Thompson, and it's not necessarily arguing balls and strikes. It's showing your team, I got your back. It's maybe lighting a fire under your team's ass. As we have just said, they've looked lifeless over the last 2 series. They were lifeless against the Braves, lifeless against the Cardinals, and parts of the game yesterday they were lifeless. That was the opportunity for Rob Thompson to go out there. Yeah, you're going to get ejected. So what? You're down 6 runs with 1 inning left.
And what do I care if you get ejected? Because what do you do? What do you do in the course of a game? Are you doing anything? Are you changing the outcome of the game at all? Are you doing anything but staring off into space like you're in some stupor? Because he's not doing anything. You got to have some effect on the game. You're there. You're getting a paycheck. Do something. Be counseling players as they come off. I watched yesterday as they're showing players going to the dugout, and I'm watching Rob just stare at the game. Watching those things happen that you talked about during the game. Just stare at the game. No life, no energy. To me, he's along for the freaking ride. And I've said it before. The vibes of him are too much substitute teacher. Never going to be the guy who's going to rock the boat. Never going to be the guy who's too bold.
Well, and again, he did make some decisions yesterday.
Did he?
Well, somebody was out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We'd love to hear from you on this topic at 610-632-0975. How do you view Rob Thompson as the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies? I think there are people that go way too far both sides, but you know what? That's sports, right? We see that all the time in sports. Nothing new. But which way do you lean? Are you more on the I'm out side, or are you more on the I like him side? Let's see what happens. We'll react to more of the game coming up next because it was a doozy. It looked fun to start, and then it quickly turned.
A doozy?
Yeah.
What are you, 85?
Well, you know what? How old is Cinderella? Because the clock striking midnight thing lived for Taijuan Walker yesterday. We'll get into that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas.
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.